People, Deluded, I'm back again. Quick one now, we might as well go through the rumours and all of these sort of things that 90% of it isn't relevant, but we might as well discuss nonetheless. Now, I know a lot of you are looking at our goalkeeping situation, and to be fair, unless the league say, you know, it's an emergency thing, we're allowed to sign someone, there isn't too much we can do. We've only got a few options at least for the last couple of games left this season. Long term, you're hearing Leno's out for a year, so something needs to give. It'd be unfair to Leno, but in an ideal world, I'd like to bring in, without getting, I promise you guys at a later date, we'll make videos and get into scrutinised goalkeeping targets. But right now, if you was to ask me, you should go for someone better than what you have in it. Number twos are hard to find. Finding someone that's levels or better than Leno that would be happy to be number two when Leno returns is even harder to find. You get it, people? So you could have another conundrum on that. And to a degree, it's almost, football's not fair, but it could be unfair on Leno, because by my logic, look, and I'm sure a lot of yours, you sign someone levels than Leno or try and get better, that could mean Leno is frozen out, when really it's unfortunate. It's literally just the injury. Obviously, he can come back and fight for his spot and whatnot, but you know the goalkeeping thing, you can't really have two keepers of the similar ability and keep them happy. You need a hierarchy. You need that established number one. You need a steady hands at number two, which is a rarity. Number three is typically some over-experienced player that knows he's not going to play, or you make a young player go and do that and get some experience, which obviously with Martinez now, naturally, Leno's out the picture, so Martinez progresses to first choice. Macy moves up and we do what we need to do beyond that sort of thing, people. For Martinez, I'm not going to lie, people, I'm going to keep it honest. I don't really rate Martinez too tough. I have my reserves in relation to if he can do this thing long term, looking beyond just this season, and let's focus on the duration that Leno is going to be out for, sort of thing. And you might need another keeper, because God forbid what happens to Martinez. We're relying on, with all due respect, Matt Macy, and then you're looking at academy boys. Do I think we're going to go and find someone better than Leno unless we can get the fee Leno was brought for? No, because I don't see us having the 20 to 30 million on top of one in the centre half, on top of one in the midfielder, allegedly. Even Arteta apparently wants a wide man, on top of the wage imbalance we've got. I can't really see all of this happening. I'm not asked. I would love it to happen. I don't work for Arsenal, so I don't know. But I just can't see it happening, sort of thing. So, Martinez, to be fair, like I said, I don't really rate him too much, and I have question marks over just if he's a fit for what Arteta wants from his goalie. But I'm ready to give him the chance, innit? I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to do well. It's in my best interest if he does that for this football club. And to be honest, I like to see a man with a goal and actually have some hope to receiving it, because he said he wants to be Arsenal's number one. It looked unrealistic, definitely, since Leno cemented that. But through one fault or another, this is what happens in football. An opportunity has presented itself for you to stake your claim. So you have at least the last 6, 7, however many games we've got left of the season to claim that, people. Like I said, option one would be signing someone better than Leno. I don't think it's going to happen. Option two is obviously persisting with Martinez. Then obviously, if you can be a bit crude in the market, if you can find an experienced sort of guy that's certified, we can do that. Or, without, obviously, if we sit down and we think of goalkeeping targets, we can list the best performing goalkeepers in La Liga and all of these things. But you'd imagine there's going to be a time where we're going to be linked with what's his name, Fraser Foster, probably be linked with Butland, whether you rate these guys or not. Areola, because of his situation at Madrid. We've been linked, I said on Twitter, we've been linked with Joe Hart. Obviously, we're kind of desperate for goalies, but didn't Joe Hart, wasn't one bit, whatever reason it was, at the time I didn't really think it was fair, but it is what it is. At the time, Joe Hart got frozen out by Pep Guardiola. Wasn't Arteta there? So again, Arteta is his own man and sees things differently to Pep, despite, them being close. He probably got his own ways about doing things and has disagreed many a time with Pep. But just focused on that. If he doesn't and you're, again, assuming Arteta's philosophy somewhat lines up with what Pep does, if Pep is saying, nah, this ain't the goalkeeper, Joe Hart, for whatever reason, surely Arteta is doing the same. Obviously, we're not City, and we're kind of desperate, so a lot of variables go out the window, and a lot of variables, same way, go in the window. But you'd imagine that one goes. We've been linked with Bravo, ironically, a man that Pep elected to play ahead of Joe Hart. We could, Bravo, in terms of ball playing, I get it, but I'm not going to lie, it's going to be underwhelming for me. It's not really going to scream that for me. We've been linked with Neto as well, who I think is on loan at Barcelona with an option to buy. He's always going to be second choice at Barcelona, really and truly. or near about sort of thing. You know, you've got Ter Stegen there. Unless Ter Stegen's injured, you're not going to play significantly. And at 30 years of age, if he's happy at Barcelona, you know, you arguably happy at Barca. You're going to play some cup games. You know, you might get an opportunity within the side, but you know, you're winning titles. You're playing with Messi. You're doing all these things. Could an opportunity come where he could be the first choice outright goalkeeper for Arsenal? And it's a bit of a risky one because, again, like I said, if Leno was fit, then Neto will probably be the second choice. What would you rather do, people? Be second choice at Arsenal, second choice at Barcelona? Come on, it makes itself. Again, we've been linked with Neto, similar to Bravo and Joe Hart. Probably one variable being his situation, obviously being second choice, and you know, at least for a significant part next season, assuming Leno is out for a year, which has been reported, he could play football at Arsenal. Obviously, Kaya Jarupkin is his agent, allegedly, so you can see where some of these rumours are coming from. And on the topic of agents, when you have a strategy, you can use agents. And this is actually one time, as much as I'm looking at Raul Sanllehi with scrutiny, utilise these agents. Is there a goalkeeper, an experienced goalkeeper we can kind of get into the club moving forward in the summer? Is there a sort of young keeper in South America we can identify? Obviously, marry it with scouting, but this is when you should put the feelers out, where we actually need this. You know, probably be linked, like I said, if I haven't said it already, will probably be linked with Real Madrid's Areola or PSG's Areola on loan. That wouldn't be the worst of things, to be fair with you people. And we'll probably begin to be linked with a whole bunch of goalkeepers in, well, we're almost the bottom half of the Prem, but the bottom half of the Prem, do you get where I'm going, people? So we'll see what happens with the goalie stuff. Now, in relation to Cedric Soares, who since January has not played a game for this team and probably will complete a permanent move to Arsenal. He's a free agent. Well, he is a free agent now, more or less, really and truly, because he's not renewing his thing at Southampton, so he's eligible to talk to other teams or stay here. What a lot of people anticipate, similar to Paulo Marie, you think will sooner or later Arsenal will announce that's a permanent signing. Different reasons you'd think Cedric Soares, but technically his deal ran out. Apparently Arsenal are expected to sign him in the summer and still want to progress with that, and apparently we're liaising with Southampton to try and get an extension in relation to that loan, people. But then you also hear his contract's up on June the 30th, so at Southampton, so wouldn't it just be, I don't know what would happen in that regard, so we'll have to see. I don't know for that one, but in short, apparently Arsenal want to renew the man's loan, so we'll have to see what happens. El Nene, in short, people, has been linked with Olympiacos, and apparently, although Besiktas have an option to buy the player, permanent switch is considered unlikely due to the financial implications of the coronavirus. Apparently, they want Olympiacos to replace, Olympiacos want El Nene to replace, is it Barr in midfield? No, he's a centre-half. Whoever it was in midfield, Camara, that's his name. They want him to replace him. I don't know if there's any truth in that rumour. Obviously, Olympiacos is a massive team for El Nene to experience, and I mean, he's experienced a big team like Arsenal. He's experienced, you know, Besiktas, Turkish football. It borders on religion there, this football thing, and you know that could be another experience. That's another man we need to get off the books permanently. There's no more loan business permanently, but we'll have to see what happens in that regards, people. Moving away from that, Osei Tutu, you lot saw last night or the day before. I didn't watch the game, but he's popped up with another goal. It's a good finish, man. Like, the ball came into him, kind of like the right side of the box, and he pulled it in. And you know what? He's been playing further forward for Busham, can't pronounce, but he's been doing all right. And I said it in one vid, but you have to say it again. Obviously, I've just spoken about Cedric Soares. If Cedric Soares, in addition to Bellerin, on the right backs next season, you've obviously got Maitland-Niles, who don't know what's going to happen. You know, there might not be a spot for Osei Tutu because you can't imagine him playing right wing for Arsenal. Obviously, hindsight is a wonderful thing. It might make me look stupid saying that, but you can't imagine that. At 21, he's probably of that age where he needs to go somewhere where he can settle down his roots and play first team football and stay there a couple of years, because he's probably at risk of doing that thing a lot of young players do, where they're at Arsenal in pre-season, they go out on loan one team, they go here, next team, they go there, and then they're eventually sold or released when the contract runs out. You know, I think he's deserved the chance to at least show Arteta what he can do, at least in the early weeks of pre-season. But we'll have to see what could happen in that regards, people. But for what it's worth, in 20 appearances, he's got 5 goals, 3 assists. Since the restart of German football, in 8 games, he's got 2 assists and 3 goals. So he's had a hand in 5 goals in his last 8 games. Regardless, that's very good form. And some attackers, ironically, at Arsenal right now will kill for that. There's been a lot of reports in relation to Thomas Partey. 1 minute, you know, he's saying, that last report I saw is that he's not coming to Arsenal, he's staying at Atletico regardless. Some are saying he's an Arsenal player in all but name, and his release clause will be paid. We'll have to see what happens in that regards, people. Apparently, sources close to the club believe the player will not ignite for a move despite the open secret of Arsenal's interest. So we'll have to see. In relation to Aubameyang, again, the same rumours have come, but this time Dimarzio, I can't pronounce his name, but it's a bit more credibility. Depending on what reports you read, generally Barcelona are going for Aubameyang because they can't get Martinez, or Inter Milan are going for Aubameyang because Martinez is going. 1 minute there's financial wage restrictions being put on Barcelona to not sign Martinez, then it's in relation to his release clause running out. It's the same old rumour kind of recycled. We all know if apparently Barcelona wanted Aubameyang in January, they asked on loan and they were pointed towards a 50 million fee. Maybe if things were different, Arsenal would have done that. Arsenal probably biting off Barcelona's hands for that. And you've seen Barcelona are going to get 74 million based on Arthur's transfer, alleged transfer to Juventus. So there must be some cake for us. If I'm any team, if I'm honest with you, if I was trying to sign Aubameyang this summer, on one hand, I do think because of what's happening with the COVID stuff, because of Aubameyang's contract and the player he is a fire bargain. He is a deal. He is, he's a top deal. He's like NBA being £4 on PSN and everyone buying it right now. He is a deal. But on the other hand, maybe as an Arsenal fan, I'm inflating his importance because age is a big thing. And more important than age, it doesn't seem like he's people's first targets. Like on ability, he's great. And especially if Cavani's announced he's busting out from PSG. So, PSG might even come in for Aubameyang. But all these top teams, it seems like they've got other targets elsewhere. But if Barca come in, then you've got... Listen, he has to go. And if I'm a team, if I'm Barcelona, I genuinely want Aubameyang, I'm either going to get this deal done very quickly and give Arsenal pennies, or I'm going to stretch this out, because the longer you drag your heels that pre-season, this summer coming, or whatever break until the next season, the longer you drag your heels, the weaker Arsenal's negotiating position is, people, because, he's got a year left, and obviously there's time to talk to other teams in January if they still want him. Obviously his age is a massive thing, so that might ignite him running through the door. If I'm Barcelona, I'm hoping the delay and stuff kind of makes Aubameyang drag his heels and kind of force the move, regardless of how it might paint him. And then Arsenal will eventually have to make a decision. Do we just let him go for free, or do we let him go for a low fee? If I really wanted Aubameyang, I'm going to kind of play a game of poker with Arsenal, which is why contracts should be negotiated very quickly and done very quickly. Like, why was there no option of another year in his deal, similar to Pogba's at United? It gives them a bit more breathing space. And you can see how what we're doing has knock-on effects, because just from not doing this with Aubameyang, it's almost irrelevant to Arteta. But Arteta's our new coach, and it annoys me that since the man signed for this club, every press conference there's a question about Aubameyang, where I can't remember the last time someone has been our manager and it's just football. We're just dealing with whether we've won, lost on the field. There's always some contract or something, and that needs to stop at this club. People really and truly see how one effect of not looking at this man and thinking about his contract and protecting us helps us. For his agents, they worked a number, because he signed a 2-3 year deal. It's now time to renew it. He's got one big payday at whatever club left, or one big good contract sort of thing. This is where we need to do it. It's the same with giving Ozil that deal. It's had a knock-on effect. It's affected renewing deals here. It's affected moving players. We can't move players on, Ozil on, and people, and not just Ozil's contract, but continuous. It kind of harps us. So what we're doing has knock-on effects. Even that's one thing you have to give Arsene Wenger. Apparently he told the club he wanted Ozil to stay, but the deal was in the hands of Ivan Glazides. And when Wenger became aware of the figures being discussed, or the finances, he had reservations. So, Wenger's got a lot wrong, but it's happened in that regard. And that tweet by Draper_Rob, I think he's a journalist, was resurfacing on Twitter, and I thought it was perfect to speak about. But in addition to that, and it shows you how unserious we're moving, it's actually, as of today, Tuesday the 22nd, 23rd of June, with COVID, who knows what day it is right now. But apparently it's been 285 days since an Arsenal player agreed a new contract, not including Arsenal activating 1-year extension options. So on top of all the poor statistic ones, what is going on? Do you see what I'm saying? This is where we've lost with Aubameyang now. Whatever happens, happens. I hope he stays. In my head, he's gone, because logically he should be gone. It's about preventing this in the next generation. And as I say this, what have you got? 17, 18-year-old Bukayo Saka. Now we're praying to God he signs a new deal. But similar to what I've said about people dragging their heels, his agent should drag his heels. If I was his agent, I'd drag, unless I get what I want, and I'm talking for what's best for Saka and whatnot, I'm dragging this out. I'm bringing this into next season. I'm trying to make it. If I'm honest, Saka is signing a 3-year deal for me if I'm an agent. For Arsenal, they should be pushing for a 5 or 4 with an extension. Or at most, you take a 3 with an extension of a 4th. Why I say this? Because this is probably Saka's second contract. I could be wrong. He could have signed a renewal, but I'm pretty sure at this moment in time, he's on his first year. The first pro deal he signed. I could be wrong. Now he's going to get his second, and to be, it's going to be a healthy increase because he deserves that because he's been playing quite well. If I make him sign a 3-year deal and Saka's now a first team player right now, what's he going to be at 20? I make him sign a 3-year deal, people. What happens? Next 18 months, that contract talks back on the table. And that's something we as a club need to understand as well, that contracts are a losing game, but players do deserve it when needed. Van Dijk and all them man there at Liverpool are always signing renewals. Chelsea do the same. That's one thing. We need to understand keeping a group of players, not this group of players, where we actually have a decent crop, keep them together, and also it's underrated what coaching and improvement can do. Obviously, Arsenal, we need surgery. Everyone can see there's not, you pick our best 11 out of this team and, only about 4 of them, in my opinion, can go and talk to other top 6 teams, can go and have a chance of being in the squad, let alone starting. Like, I don't care what no one tells me. I think Saka, Martinelli will have no problems, getting first team football elsewhere in whatever denomination in the top 4, top 6. I think regardless of what you say about Torreira, personally, I feel Torreira the same. I feel Aubameyang, it's early, but I'm going to scream Tierney. And you know what, Kepa? I got to use you as an example. I'm screaming Leno. Now, a team that wants to be Premier League winners and stuff, that's a handful of players. That doesn't mean I don't rate everybody, but the only players I genuinely believe in. And for me, if I was the Arsenal manager, I wouldn't kind of entertain offers unless unrealistic things came, would be Torreira, and even Torreira can go, but Torreira, Tierney, Aubameyang, obviously with what's going on with his contract, Martinelli, Saka, and I might have missed somebody else out, but there's not too many. There's not a centre half, for example, and that's the way Arsenal are at this moment in time. It shows you where we are. Like, we don't respect defending. The last guy to come from our academy and be credible was Tony Adams. That shows you what we're looking at. We shouldn't still be signing centre halves and still having this problem, people. So we need to start respecting defending and actually addressing these areas and doing it properly, because when you penny pinch and take shortcuts, it harms you long term. We're paying 2 or 3 times over for centre halves now, people. So we'll see what happens, man. But for now, I've got nothing more to add, so I'm going to keep it moving. People, I always like to speak to you guys, but it's got to end. As usual, I'm out, man. Comment, subscribe, and do the rest.